Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the CPS Reports, and we are back. Well, I am back this time. As you can see, I'm not with the panel, but I will be reporting on some of the cool fights that were taking place this weekend. So you know what time it is. It is time for us to do a preview of one championship. Let me bring it up on the screen for you there. So this Friday we have one Friday fights 80 Rak taking on Yodnumchai. That is Friday, 20 September at 2:30 South African time. Let me break this card down for you. So I'm only going to go through three fights. To be honest, I'm going to go through three fights. These are the fights that I know personally. I've seen these fighters fight before, so I can give you some kind of perspective on them. The rest of the card is pretty much filled up with a bunch of debutants or kind of like fighters that only really fought maybe once or twice in the one championship. However, that being said, one championship never fails to put on a boarding fight card. Almost all their fight cards are always just absolutely amazing. It always brings the heat. You know, there's a lot of knockouts, a lot of finishes. Everyone just goes in, balls to the wall. So it's always exciting fights. Without further ado, let me start with the main event. We have Rak Erwan taking on Yodnumchai. I think this is an atomweight bout. So I'm going to start with Rak Erwan. I've seen him fight before. He has become one of the fan favorites in the one championship. As you can see on screen, his record in one championship is currently 4-2. 2 wins by knockout, 1 win by TKO, and a 75% finishing rate. And if you look at these strikes thrown per minute, 6.97. Well, roughly, let's put the estimation. Let's go to the next nearest decimal and make it 7 strikes per minute. So that's a very active fighter. Rak, coming from I think if I'm not mistaken, he fights from the orthodox stance, but he has a very good way of switching between the two. He goes for finishes all the time. The guy never fights to sort of just win on points, although he has it in his locker to do that. And you could see that in the fight when he fought with Nicholas Silva as well as Shuto Sato, although he knocked Shuto out. Rak has got just a very flawless way of putting on forward pressure and backing up his opponents to the ropes or the cage, and just keeping it in the phone booth situation. You will see him throw a lot of leg kicks, a lot of teep kicks, but usually his go-to move is to throw down the 1-2 down the pipe and just putting people down that way. Very amazing boxing combinations. Almost slightly different to what you will see traditional Muay Thai fighters throw. He's got a little bit of a Western style, although it's not 100% there. The fact that he has a little bit of a different style to traditional Muay Thai fighters makes him a bit of a puzzle for your traditional Muay Thai guys. And also only taking 2 losses to Song Chai Noi, who is also a big fan favorite, but Song Chai Noi has got heavy hands, like extremely heavy hands. So I can understand the loss against the 2 losses, and it's the only 2 losses that he has in the one championship as well against Song Chai Noi. And also Song Chai Noi, like I say, heavy hands. So that was one of the fights. Those are the fights where you notice Rak was tentative. He was a bit cautious, throwing down his shots. He was a bit hesitant in that fight, but I can understand why. Because once you get caught in a line of fire with Song Chan Noi, you can bet you're going to probably get knocked out. But Rak, just coming back to Rak as a fighter, I think is the reason why he's a fan favorite. He just puts on exciting fights all the time. So seeing him in the headline is a good move from the one championship for this Friday. Let's talk a little bit about his opponent in Yodnumchai. 5-0. You know what that means. The guy hasn't taken the loss, which means he's been absolutely flawless. 3 wins by KO, 1 win by TKO, and also a very high percentage finishing rate with 80%. Granted, these percentages is only really calculated in the one championship. So although the number is quite high, although the number is quite high in terms of finishing rate, it's only really count the fights that he has done in the one championship, which is only 5. That being said, I'm not taking away from the person from Yodnumchai's record. I do think it's still absolutely amazing because considering fighting the one championship, people are getting knocked out almost every single weekend. So if you come into the one championship with that kind of record, it's really something to run home with. And then also again, 3 strikes thrown per minute, so he's a little bit more calculated, which explains his finishing rate. He looks for the kill shot rather than getting into a fisticuff and just throwing a bunch of shots around and hoping to land once you get close to your opponent. Yodnumchai is a lot more calculated than Rak. So you can look for a stylistic fight here where you can see Rak to put on the forward pressure and kind of get the fight in his pace. And then you can look for Yodnumchai to almost slow the fight down, be a little bit more calculated, utilize a lot of deep kicks, maybe a lot of low kicks as well, to sort of open up his opponent. And you can expect from round 2 onwards a high pace to sort of be activated from the second round onwards. Who do I think is going to win? I'm leaning towards Rak, but that could just be because I'm biased towards Rak. I think he's a fun fighter to watch, but he is going up against someone who's extremely deadly and very accurate in the way he puts his fights, or sort of gets his finishes. As you can see on the screen, 3 fights in 2024, so he's a very, very active fighter, barely taking any damage, which kind of helps him take this amount of fights. So who do I think is going to win? I'm going to lean towards Rak and bias the side. Just think his pressure might be the thing that's going to get him the win here. He's going to be putting on. He's going to be looking to put Yodnumchai on the back foot, and it's very difficult to fight off the back foot. Granted, these Thai fighters fight amazing off the back foot, but it does deplete your gas tank a little faster than having to walk forward. So Yodnumchai, if he can survive the pace of Rak, I think he can get his kill shot in there. Probably look to have one of those counter elbows that we saw Superlek did to landed on Jonathan Haggerty. So yeah, let's see how this fight plays out. I'm going to lean towards Rak. Let me know in the comments what do you think and who you think is going to get the win of that main event. We move on.